Welcome to Touch Develop's informational video, Trail. This step-by-step screencast will utilize sprite sets to enhance our understanding of the Touch Develop API by creating a touch-driven trail of colored sprites. Following the creation of our new script, we begin our project within Main by selecting it on the home screen. We then select the empty body of our method and choose Add Below. When presented with our new line specifications, we choose Variable, as this first snippet of code will need to be recalled in the future. To initialize our variable as a board, we enter the library Media, and then the option Create Full Board. To access our board's capabilities in the lines to come, we simply highlight the variable name and then Promote to Data, successfully declaring a global. Our next section of code will be a separate entity from the creation of the board, so we signify its distinctive quality with our next line, a comment. This comment will read Leader, corresponding to its duties creating the leading sprite in our set trail. The coded line directly beneath will be a variable. This variable we'll call data board and utilize the capability create ellipse. After promoting the sprite to a global, we give it the itemized title ellipse. After the creation of ellipse, we command our new global through its option set color, and we leave the autocomplete option colors to random. A wider expanse of code will now be entered under the comment follow. Respectively, we will create a set of sprites facilitated to follow our new leader. Beginning the separated region with a variable, we employ data board to access the button create sprite set. For our convenience, we rename the set set and then promote it to a global. Initializing the entirety of set will be done in the lines to follow through the specification of for, which will create a for loop. A for loop runs its contents for the set number of iterations entered as a parameter. In this case, we would like to create 20 rectangle sprites with the same functionalities, so we enter parameter 20. In the body of our loop, we create a variable, which uses the data board capability create rectangle. This variable, which we rename rect, will remain a variable as it is only used within this loop. Still, within the body, we script a command calling rect and instructing it to set color, colors to random. Now that we have created our desired sprite, we add a command which adds the rectangle to set. This is done by entering data set and then add, setting the parameter to rect if it is not done automatically. Returning to our method page, we enter a line beneath our present code, outside the for loop, this time specifying a command. This command will make our board and all its contents visible to the user by first calling data board and then post to wall. Our next section of code must be recalled during the entirety of the app's activation, so we engage the event gameLoop, which has the four stated capabilities. The first line of this new method will command data ellipse to set position, and will use the touch of the user as parameters. To script this, we enter data board and then touch current. This application is then specified as x and then y value for each respective sect of the parameter. Now is where our code gets more advanced. To create a trail following our sprite ellipse, which, as you know, mimics the position of the user's touch, we must first edit the Premier sprite's actions before editing the final 19 through a mass production. In our next command, we must extract the first rectangle in set, so we call data set and verify at 0. Since a sprite set is equivalent to an array list, the 20 rectangles are stored in slots from 0 to 19, so the first rectangle is, in fact, found in the slot 0. Now that we have selected our desired sprite from the group, we fix its behavior through move towards and then input our desired information. In this case, we are moving the rectangle in set position 0 towards our sprite ellipse, so we enter data ellipse. The final parameter is a proper fraction, and therefore a decimal between 0 and 1, which assesses the restraint of gravity the sprite feels towards the initial parameter. In short, the higher the decimal, the quicker the sprite will move. We will choose a relatively low number, such as 3/10. Next, we have some math to apply. Selecting to add a for loop, we set the parameter for 19, since the first rectangle has already fulfilled its needed properties. In the for body, we will begin with a command. Taking data set at I plus 1, we'll call the sprite in the plot 1 past the present iteration. We command this rectangle to move towards the set sprite at position I, at the speed 3/10. This command, in summation, tells the contents of the slot one more than the iteration, or I plus 1, to follow the contents of the slot which matches the iteration count presently, or I. So the set at 2 follows the set at 1, and the set at 1 follows the set at 0, so on and so forth. Our next command is outside of the entire for and makes all changes of sprite locations visible to the user by entering data, board, update on wall. This, our final line, now completes our app, Trail. Congratulations! We may now return to the main method and click the play icon to run your application.